Hello there, Red Rocketers today here. And as you already probably guessed, it's all about hydraulic doors. We'll cover the entire crafting process, including that fabric roof, with breaking down all the weathering details, paints, techniques and material used, as well as the electronic components. Everything will be covered completely. As you can see, the hidden electronics handle the opening and closing sequences, while the physical mechanism is tucked neatly inside the wall. As always, all the 3D files, the code I used and the complete material list are in the description, so you can replicate it to build yourself. We'll also cover how I made the window glass here. And under the roof as well. If you love this kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button, it really helps the channel grow. Thank you, and let's go! So, first things first, I prepared the 3D model. As usual, all the files are attached below, free for download. Next, we just print the good stuff. Absolutely normal and standard process. And here how it's turned out in the end. After thinking it over, I decided to use a linear rail and carriage for the door mounting. Those parts are super important. It has to be securely attached to the frame, since the whole door hangs on it. In my case, the rail is attached to the door with the self-tapping screws, while the carriage stays fixed inside the frame. Keeping the frame rigid is key here, because any misalignment will cause it to jam. That's why I installed a bottom seal, to keep the whole structure stable. Next up is the most important part, the drive mechanism. Again, after some consideration, I decided to use a rack and the pinion setup. I attached the pinion to the shaft of an N20 motor and inserted the rack into the specifically prepared slot. As for the motor itself, I mounted it right onto the outer door frame. Next, we line up and center the pinion with the rack. Like this. Time for the first test. I connect 5 volts to the motor terminals and it starts spinning. The rotation direction is determined by the polarity. At the moment, the motor keeps running, and for the long as it gets power, the motor was actually strong enough to break the frame. You can even see the glue on the left side that I used to repair it. To stop the motor at the right time, I need the limit switches, like those ones. I use super glue to secure the limit switches right into the pre-made slots in the frame. Now let's move to the electronics. The brain of the system is an ESP32S3 loaded with the firmware. I also added a door open-close button and wire up both limit switches, the right one and the left one. I included a motor driver that handles motor rotation direction. But now let's power it up with the 5 volts and see how it all works. As you can see, everything works fine. Now let's move on to the painting. As usual, I'm starting by priming with a nice 50-50 mix of the black and white acrylic gesso. Nothing specific here. Next, I'm preparing the base coat for the metallic paint. I'm using mahogany, applying it all over the surfaces of the door. After that, it's time for dry brushing using chainmail. Again, applying it over the all door parts. And yes, you noticed right, I break the frame again by mixing up the motor polarity. This time I used ice cream stick to repair it. Alright, this part is done as well. Now let's move on to the electronics. For the enclosure, we will be using this barrel, which is already painted. and the list of components I used. First of all, battery and the battery holder, then charging module, power management unit, voltage boost converter, ESP32 controller, motor driver, limit switches, main power switch and the fuse, tactile button, and capacitors, electrolytic and ceramic, and finally 3D printed button holder. Next up, assembling all the components. I won't deep dive into the details here, just follow the chart presented on screen. First, I glued the charging module and the main power switch into the pre-drilled holes. Then I soldered the fuse, and this one saved my setup more than once. So I highly recommend adding one to your setup as well. Then I prepare main modules, soldering the required wires and capacitors to them. The power management unit gets soldered in first, as all current from the setup needs to pass through it for accurate measurements. Now, the important step, the first test run. I connect the USB cable to the charging module and run 5V straight from the power management unit to the motor terminals, just to verify the entire power rail. Alright, that's working, let's go further. Next up, back to the black magic of connecting all the remaining components following our wiring diagram, and don't forget about the labels. If you decide to replicate this and run into any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll reply you. Done! And now, as a friend of mine said, the golden rule is don't take the thing to the airport. To make the build a little bit less refined, I added some connectors. And now we are ready to hook up the door. I routed all the wires neatly along the frame. And next we need to attach the connectors here as well. And don't forget about the labels. Once you are completely sure which wire is which, you can crimp the connectors. I'm using PH2 connectors, as they are pretty compact, but still easy to work with. Alright, the door is ready to be connected. But first, let's finish up the painting. First up, we need to add a center strip to match our reference. I'm using scarlet red here, applying it right to the middle of the door. Next, I'm using dark sea gray, applying it with a piece of sponge to create the look of the chipped paint. Try not to overwork the surface. After that, I take a detail brush and some chainmail silver. I place a little touch of a paint in the middle of those larger chips to simulate the bare metal. And this is what we ended up on this stage. Now I'm preparing the material for the window glass. For this, I'm using a clear plastic binding cover from an office report binder. I use this material for all my dioramas. In my opinion, it looks pretty realistic. And now it's time to put the whole scene together. I'm taking out the old door frame. That was cool handle till that moment. And since I used PVA glue, it popped off without much trouble. Next, I remove the floor tiles from the doorway and test fit the door into the place. Fits perfectly. Now I can glue it into the place permanently. I went with super glue for this one. Was that a mistake? Only time will tell. Next up is the trickiest part, and honestly, the one I was slightly nervous about, preparing the brick wall corner to fit the whole door mechanism inside. I spent hours preparing and painting this brick wall, and now I actually have to cut into it to fit the mechanism inside. Okay, first cut done, relatively painless, well, minus the stress of my nerves. Now I'm using masking tape to to back up that thin wall. Alright, the second part is done as well. I'm also backing it up with the strips of the masking tape to keep everything secure. I'm also using a bit of the PVA glue to stick all those loose bits right back into the place. Let's see how it fits. Looks good enough, but here's a slight problem. Once I put the corner piece where it belongs, the guide rail ran right into it. Now it's time to trim off the excess. Once that is sorted, I attach the front wall piece to the door frame with some PVA glue, completely hiding all the exposed internal parts. Although I have to make a little grate to cover up the hole I made. For next part, I'm installing the upper window section, complete with the glass panel made using the exact same technique as the door window. I install the button into its 3D printed housing and glue the push cap in place. Alright, the door is working, but wall is wobbling. I guess I need to fix it later. And finally, my favorite step. I'm using the finished lichen to camouflage the mounting hole for the motor. Alright, we're done here. Next, I switch to Enamels. It's time to add some accumulated green. I lay down a K-striking green into the recesses and draw vertical streaks across the panels. Next, I let the enamel dry for about 15 minutes. Then I take a soft brush and with a touch of white spirit, I soften the sharp lines into natural green streaks. Finally, I use the rust streaks to create rust runs. I mainly applied right below the bullet heads and in other logical spots where rust would naturally build up. In a completely same way, I'm working with the corner pillar. Dry pigments will wrap up the weathering on the door. I'm applying track rust and city door pigments with a soft brush. Then I'm removing any excesses with a stiff brush. Alright, that section is complete. Just one small detail left, the fabric awning above the entrance. Let's do it. I designed the 3D model and printed all the frame parts. After that, I simply glue all the pieces together using a super glue. I glue the back rib only to keep geometry correct. Once everything is set, we can just cut it right off. Next, I paint the metallic using my standard recipe. First, black or grey primer. Second, mahogany base coat under the metallic. And then, third, dry brush by a chainmail. Frame is ready. Now, the fun part, the fabric. After some tries and errors, I ended up with the wet wipes. They work out the best so far. To start, I grabbed a pre-dried wet wipe, squeezed clean of its lotion earlier, stretch it tight over the frame and snip away any extra fabric. Next, I prepare the soaking solution. I just take plain water and add a little bit of PVA glue, like this. Using a special tool, I thoroughly mix all the components together. Then I soak the material completely with the solution and dab away all excess moisture. I restretch the fabric back over the frame, securing that in place with some clips. I'm using a craft knife to create a realistic rect edge. Next, I carefully mix the paint. I'm using scarlet red and terracotta. I apply the paint while the surface is still a little bit damp, before the PVA glue has a chance to form a film. I put the material back over the frame again, creating natural sags between the ribs. Using mahogany, I recreate darker green on the fabric. Add a little bit more paint on the bottom, softening edges by the brush. Alright, and we are done. All that's left now is put everything together. And that's a wrap for today. I decided to add a little bit of drama by rolling in some actual fog, so you can see the finished hydraulic door in all its glory. And overall, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Of course, I still need to build a full entrance terrain, and I just threw in some random wasteland junk for atmosphere today, but I'll tackle the terrain build properly in the very next video. Be sure that you're subscribed, so you don't miss it. That's gonna be cool, and that's really supporting channel as well. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and bye bye.